In the last episode of Tales of the Jedi, we meet one of the current members of the Inquisitorius, whose task is to hunt down the remaining Jedi after Order 66. The incredible highlight of this specific Inquisitor is the remarkable and unique design, especially because of this character's mask. It has this pale, skull-looking structure with menacing glowing red eyes, which certainly helps their enemies feel a great sense of fear, among all other things that will make them doubt their confrontation, unless you are Ahsoka Tano. However, the fascinating aspect about this Inquisitor that we honestly know very little about, let alone his name, is that he seems to possess a form of dark side power which we haven't seen much of in the Star Wars universe, at least not in terms of movies and shows. Despite his apparent ties to powerful darkness, Ahsoka Tano takes him out swiftly without any trouble, mainly by knowing exactly how to disable his lightsaber in mid-combat, before she quickly cuts off his head. Now let's take a step back and think. That's quite odd for a head to do after being cut off. So it begs the question, is it actually a head or a physical human head? Or is it an armored shell covering a dark spirit underneath? Well, let me explain that thought. Back in the ancient days of the Old Republic, a powerful Sith Lord known as Darth Nihilus almost laid ruin upon the remaining Jedi in the galaxy. He was so powerful in the dark side of the Force that he decided to abandon his physical form to allow himself to grow even stronger without having to concern himself about the rapid decay of his body. To conceal himself with the Force, he encased himself as a dark spirit in long black cloaks and wore a mask that, conveniently, shared similarities with that of a white skull. Could it be that this new Inquisitor also decided to abandon their physical form to harness the dark side of the Force beyond the limitations of their body? You can clearly see the so-called head deflates after it is cut off, and you can also hear the sound of something that we could associate with a spirit or some form of shadow leaving its host. It has this sound that we hear in many other movies and shows that indicates some form of power leaving something that we can't see but we can hear. I must also mention that the voice held by Darth Nihilus and this Inquisitor share similar characteristics. Have a listen for yourself.
You claim a Jedi was here, and yet I find no one. You have no idea just how insignificant you are.
Could this character be inspired by the ancient Sith Lord Darth Nihilus? Could this be someone who perhaps found the old scripts or knowledge of Nihilus and decided to replicate his style when he turned into an Inquisitor? Well, honestly, I certainly hope so, since we will probably never see Darth Nihilus anytime soon in Disney canon. This could be the closest that we would get to him in the essence of another character. However, if we set ourselves to the side and stay less ambitious, this could easily be Disney just making a new interesting dark side individual without any ties to the ancient Sith Lords. Besides, suppose someone was so strong and capable of transferring their spirit into the shadow of dark side power. In this case, I have a strong feeling that Palpatine wouldn't precisely let that individual walk around simply as an Inquisitor, let alone the fact that they died pretty easily by the hands of Ahsoka, which tells me that, well, they weren't anywhere near as powerful as Darth Nihilus. So unless Disney canon has changed things up, where it doesn't require a very skilled and powerful Force user to disband their own body and encase their powers behind a mask and armor, then, unfortunately, this theory is nothing more than that of an interesting thought to ponder. But with that said, the looks and behavior of this Inquisitor, even though it was short, are beautiful to the eyes of someone like me who obsess over almost anything that has to do with Sith Lords and the dark side in this universe. So I hope that Star Wars take their time to explore this character more in depth and give them a proper background explanation. Who do you guys think this Inquisitor is? If you have any thoughts, let me know in the comments below. It would be interesting to read your take. Also, every week at Star Wars Uplink, we release a new podcast episode talking about everything we find interesting about Star Wars. So, if you're interested, check out the link to our podcast playlist in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.